Good morning, I'm Alan Kay. I'm a really lucky guy. Lucky to be with you. It's a thrill. I left school before I was 15. I went home summer holidays, said to my parents, I'm not going back. And they thought I meant until September. So I went and got a job on the Monday, and I stayed in advertising for 30 odd years, in which I became an account person, lots of famous brands, and I ran an advertising agency reporting to some interesting financial creatures. I've been consulting for 15 years, and another lucky aspect of my life is I get to work across the sector, so private, public, not-for-profit. And one of my great passions is EBC Canada, EBC Life Literacy Canada, got to get the brand name right. I've been on their board for a long time. And prior to that, I was on their, of course, their Advertising Communication Committee. So I'm going to talk to you this morning about our topic of be the best leaders you can be, solution-focused coaching techniques. I'll try and put those two together for you. Before we start, we have Deborah over here. Emily wanting some simultaneous French translation. She is, of course, available. Yes?
Just to clarify, is it Okay, anyway, if there are French ones who would ask like some questions for translation or translate questions and answers, I'm here to do that.
Good, thank you. And extra copies. I'm going to do something quite dangerous with a bunch of people who understand education. I call this drive-by learning. And when my wife sees me making a lot of slides, she has a certificate in adult ed. She says, you're not presenting all those slides, are you? The purpose of a lot of the slides is actually to get you talking. So they're kind of briefing slides for you. In between that, there's quite a few of those theory slides we see up here all the time. So my presentation, I'm going to keep moving really quickly. I'm dedicated to finishing on time. Would 12 o'clock be all right for you? Is that what we agreed to in terms of you get to go to lunch and so on? I'm affectionately known by my clients on their behalf as the time Nazi. Start and finish on time. So will it be 12 o'clock? Is that what we... 11:15, thank you very much.
11:15, and I'll probably close around at 11:10.
11:10, that's good. That's fine. I did this, a very similar presentation with a bunch of students at York University the other day, so wish me luck. I'd like you to discuss something very quickly with somebody beside you, one-on-ones, not the whole table. Describe a time when you've been successful as a coach. We're going to talk about coaching. Describe a time when you have been successful as a coach. Go to it, please. Thank you. I now have irrefutable evidence that we've got a bunch of coaching experts in the room. Thank you very much. So let me tell you what we're going to talk about. You're going to get a chance to experience, learn, and use several solution-focused coaching skills and techniques. I'll talk to you about solution focus in a minute. Discover the principles underpinning the approach. Practice a few tools. I promise you, you can take what you practice today, go back to your place of work and your home, and use these tools, and you'll get some interesting, if not remarkable, results. I think they'll be remarkable. Plus, some tools for everyday use. I'm going to take you through a quick case. We want some evidence that this actually works. It's from a college in the UK, and I've done quite a lot of work in the UK, in the colleges. Give you a perspective on leadership. You know, how does leadership and coaching fit together? So hopefully I'll persuade you they do. And then we'll do some team coaching. Bulk of it will be you practicing team coaching. Tools you can take away. You can not only go and practice it yourself, you can go back and share this with your colleagues and let them experience it too. So let's give you the case. It's the... it was prepared by my colleague Sean Lincoln at London, at the LSN, I can't remember what those initials mean, but it is a government agency in London that does consulting and training for colleges. And so this was the UK College Management. Here's Cornell, College of North London, northeastern London. Not one of the world's most attractive places to live. A very complicated mix of citizens and a school that wasn't in great shape. This was their strategy, starting in the middle with the learning principles, engaging the learning community, i.e. that would be the students, providing leadership from the organisation down to the front line, and excellent staff performance measurement. And so they did a great job of a larger strategy. And I want to emphasise that the solution-focused component of this was part of a larger strategy. So the question, and this comes from Kathy Walsh, who at the time was, I think, the vice principal in charge of the project. Here's what she said, how it helped. It was empowered personal experience. It allowed the individual to have some tools. A rare opportunity for reflection. When they did the training, they got a chance to talk about not just the training, but about the work they do. Different kind of and positive methodology. I'm actually a bigger fan of the word purposeful than positive, because people tend to dismiss that one a bit. And enabling and confidence building for coaches to find their own solutions to specific leadership issues. And finally, succession planning, capacity building, supporting middle leaders in the future. Those were the areas where they used it. So they took the tool and applied it, didn't just sit in the class learning it. Here's the drama. Real results. Remember, not just solution-focused team coaching, but their overall strategy. Qualification outcomes. Students did a lot better. Unsatisfactory learning and teaching went down dramatically. And the better one, qualification financial return, went up. So they were able to take the success stories to say, we need more money, and they got it. So you're probably asking, I would just give you some snapshot there to substantiate that this is one of the many things you can do that's really helpful. And so let's move on to the issue of leadership. I'm going to try and tie this lot together. So what's leadership? It's the process of social influence in which one person is able to enlist the aid and support of others in the accomplishment of a common task. I teach leadership to middle managers. And I say to them, so you're in charge of strategy now, big deal. Your job, you're actually in charge of your people implementing the strategy. So that's what leadership is, get people to do things and inspire them. And the other point is, leadership's ultimately about creating a way for people to contribute to making something extraordinary happen. I'm going to ask you, in your pairs, again, where are you most pleased about your leadership skills? Where are you most pleased about your leadership skills? And I'll hear Henry who says, I really don't have any. It's not true. Discuss at your tables where you're most pleased about your leadership skills. So thank you. Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to be in front of so many leaders. Congratulations. You know what? I love accusing people of success. That's what we do in Solution Focus. So the question you're asking is, I'm sure, what do you mean by leadership? Well, I'm just going to show you a couple of slides, and then we're going to tie it back into why coaching matters for leadership. First of all, there are many different leadership styles. Winston Churchill and Martin Luther King. Different leadership styles? Absolutely, but great leaders. So here's a couple of examples. There's the people-oriented leader who supports, develops people. There's the task-oriented leader who concentrates on tasks and assignments. That would be Stephen Jobs' Apple, for example. The servant leader who facilitates goal accomplishment. Incidentally, I did some work recently with some Christian association who do home care, and I said to them, which of these applies to Jesus? And they said, oh, all of them. It wasn't just that he was a servant leader. The transactional leader. If I do this and you do this, here's what we'll get. Usually, of course, is if you don't do that, here's what you'll get. Have you ever run into one of those people? The transformational leader who motivates the team to be effective and efficient, and the environmental leader who nurtures groups, etc. These are just some of the definitions. I would say one thing about this. Today, we need more than one because we run into complexity all the time, and what we did yesterday is different from what we'll do today. So we need to be more than just one type of leader. We can't be all six, however, I emphasize. Now, in the past, the leadership, the leader was a hero. I mentioned two of them, Martin Luther King and Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill certainly took on the hero thing. It was character, aspiration, and willpower. A lot of willpower, actually. And that still lingers on the willpower leader, but very little methodology. And what we know today, however, is that character, aspiration, willpower, and learnable skills matter. And that's where I got the pleasure working with middle managers, teaching them those learnable skills. But here's the big point about coaching. This comes from Peter Drucker, an expert. The leader of the past was a person who knew how to tell. The leader of the past who knew how to tell. Do this. The leader of the future will be a person who knows how to ask. Knows how to ask questions and so on. And so that takes me into solution-focused coaching. It's a non-directive approach. Coaching is an interactive and developmental process where the coach enables coachees to find their own solutions. Remember the thing about the leader who used to tell people what to do? Now they have to ask questions. You ask questions to find out what their solutions are. Discover new opportunities and implement actions. Coaches act as facilitators. They help the people facilitate doing things. They listen, ask questions, and enable the coachees to discover for themselves what is right for them. That's one definition. When I teach this one to folks, I say to them, we've got to remember there's telling, mentoring, and coaching, and all three matter. Just do as little telling as you possibly can, because when you tell, it's called, when I insist, they resist. So how you tell matters. Mentoring is terribly important because we've got tons of good experience to share with these people to help them decide what to do. But the most powerful one is coaching, helping them learn how to do it for themselves so you don't have to be around all the time to tell them what to do. So that's the solution-focused view of that. What's the one most powerful thing that works for you and that we're going to talk about a lot in solution-focused coaching? A powerful question alters all thinking and behaving that occurs afterwards. I wish I knew this woman, Mary Goldberg, because it's a great line. Let me give you some work to do. Now, normally I have a lot of fun with this when we get everybody standing up, etc., and it takes about 20 minutes. So we're not going to do that today. On a scale of 1 to 10, at your tables, write down your number on your page. 10's the highest. 1 is just arrived from Mars, what we're talking about. And there's a typo here. This should say current coaching skills. Current coaching skills, so my apologies. You might want to mark that on your paper. Give yourself a ranking on 1 to 10 on your coaching skills. If it's a 3, it's a 3. It's great. If it's a 7, fantastic. Don't worry, whatever. Although I do urge you to be slightly less Canadian, maybe a bit more American, and assume that you have lots of them and give yourself a good number. So give you a ranking. And now, I assume you've all done that. Turn to the person beside you and tell your partner what leadership Why did this? You know what? I needed to do the find and replace and didn't do it. My apologies. What coaching quality you most value in yourself? You kind of discussed this already, but discuss with them, what's the one coaching quality you most value in yourself? Somebody beside you, discuss that for a minute, please. Thank you. Now comes a tricky one. You're going to have to show that you were listening, because I'd like you to feed back to your partner what qualities you noticed in what they were talking about. So this is a little tool to help emphasize one of the key components of coaching, which is listening. So would you say back to your partner what you just heard them saying? The quality I most like in what you were just talking about was, just pick one thing. Go to it. Thank you.